President Cyril Ramaphosa is expected to visit the family of 8-year-old Tazne van Wyk in Ravensmead on the Cape Flats in the Western Cape later today.
Van Wyk's body was found in a stormwater drain in Worcester last week. The man accused of a kidnapping and murder, Modine Pangaka, was released on parole in 2016. He has 11 previous convictions.
Outrage over the little girl's killing mounts as her family is demanding answers on how her alleged killer was a free man when his criminal record included murder, child abuse and culpable homicide.
Spokesperson for the Ravensmead Community Policing Forum, Zelda Trantral, says they have concerns that the president should be able to address. All right, and now for more on this story, on the president's visit to Van Wyk's family, let us cross live to our SABC News reporter, Vanessa Poonah. Vanessa, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for coming through. So I remember when Tazne's body was found, the mother was very furious, saying that this is what happens when a criminal is released on parole, and specifically addressing that to President Cyril Ramaphosa.
Palesa, yes, good afternoon to you. The family of 8-year-old Tazne van Wyk on last week, when her body was found, her aunt in specific, Samantha Viljoen, coming out and speaking live on SABC TV News, asking the president how someone who has a string of convictions, someone who is essentially a career criminal, had been allowed on parole, and then, of course, them losing their daughter in this horrific manner. Now, Palesa, if I can just tell you, before we talk about the president's visit, the family, the mother and father of young Tazne, of course, Carmen van Wyk and Terence Manuel, has had to do today what no parent should have to do, an unenviable task of identifying the child's body at the Worcester Forensics Laboratory. They have not yet arrived back home. Of course, we are standing in front of the family home at this point in time, where quite a bit of activity is already taking place ahead of the president's visit. Yes, he will be visiting the family of Tazne van Wyk in the wake of outrage, not just in this community, but a countrywide outrage over the fact that yet another young child has fallen victim, and in this case, not just to a first offender, but to someone who has an arm's length long list of previous convictions, someone who the family and the community and South African society at large say had been let out of prison, had been missing out of the parole system for the longest time, and then only found once this young girl had gone missing for almost 2 weeks. And of course, then he pointed out the spot where her body lay in a stormwater drain, a pipe outside Worcester, almost 100 kilometers away from the family home. At this point in time, I can tell you that operations are happening. If I can just step out of shot for a moment, you'll see that loudspeakers are being put up at this point in time. We understand that President Ramaphosa will be having a meeting in private with the mother of Tazne van Wyk. Of course, we will try and see whether we can speak to the president. And once he's done that, he will be addressing this community outside the home of Tazne van Wyk, a community which has really shown the utmost outrage. I mean, we know that after the appearance, the very brief court appearance of the 54-year-old suspect in this case, Modine Pangaka, not just at the court itself with people pushing and even hurling an object inside the courtroom, we've seen then that kind of public outrage happening and moving to Parow, where at least 3 properties had been set alight. And it's alleged at this point that one of those properties, homes, essentially was where a young Tazne was kept in the days, of course, leading up to her body being found. Of course, that will form part of the police investigation as it continues. And at the moment, yes, quite a number of roads are being cordoned off as we speak. A high police visibility as well as traffic police and the security detail just making sure that, of course, ahead of the president's visit, that he will be able to address this community who have called on him personally to do something about the fact that young children and women are continuously being hounded, continuously being victims of rape, gender-based violence and murder. And of course, yesterday, the Justice and Correctional Services Minister, Ronald Ramola, also speaking on our news channel, saying that procedures and processes have already been instituted to review the parole system and to review the systems that lead to the fact that some people slip through the cracks, if one can call it that, and end up committing not one but multiple heinous crimes, in this case, the murder of young Tazne.
All right, so Vanessa, you have the president visiting the family, but the entire Ravensmead community is looking for answers. So we'll certainly be getting back to you to hear how that particular visit by President Cyril Ramaphosa goes in that area.